Hey, yo, what's poppin', man? Okay, hope you guys are good. So I received a little comment over here, okay? And this is from my previous video, the 6th video that I've uploaded, I believe. Bro, do you really expect us intraday traders to wait weeks upon weeks for these setups to formulate? Majority of us are trying to capitalize on the market at least once a week. All I got from this video so far is that if the weekly is consolidating, we are effed, since we have to use that to even formulate intraday setups, which is annoying. All of them, I'm not expecting these vids to be some holy grail, but I discovered SMC initially from you and you bragged about how SNR was way better. I doubt that I've ever said SNR was way better for SMC for everybody. I said that SNR was way better and more powerful than SMC for myself. But anyway, let's move on. But to be honest, it doesn't seem that promising from what I've been watching, since you're still waiting for breakouts to verify strong areas within premium and discount areas. I'm gonna continue watching, hopefully expand more on these issues in further videos. That's really polite. I appreciate this comment, and let's talk about it. So I believe I haven't actually gone into much detail in my previous video about whether you need to wait for a new weekly storyline to start every single time you want to enter from the daily. The answer to that question is absolutely not, right? 9 out of 10 times, okay, a weekly storyline has already started. 9 out of 10 times, a weekly storyline is already in play. Monthly storyline maybe no, because it's monthly, right? But 9 out of 10 times every week, there probably is a weekly setup. Okay, so I'll give you an example. And even if there isn't every single week, which you should not be paying attention to that. That's the biggest mistake people make, is thinking that I want to enter from the daily. That means I need to wait for a weekly reject weekly and daily breakout before I can start entering. No, you don't. No, you do not. I'll give you an example. Okay. So you look at this area right here, right? Hold on, am I recording? Yes, I'm recording. Okay. So you look at this area right here. Where did the weekly start from? Well, my initial thing was here. This was the earliest one. Okay, but let's say you missed that. Let's say you missed this area. Okay, right there, right? Weekly reject weekly, daily breakout, correct? Okay, so now we know we're in weekly bullish. Am I right? Now, guys, after this happened, 1, 2, 3, 4. For the next 4 weeks, we were weekly bullish. Why do you need to wait for any other here? Weekly reject weekly. Enter from your dailies. That's it. That is it. You do not have to wait weeks upon weeks for these setups to formulate. You just waited one time, bro. Once, right? For the weekly reject weekly and daily breakout. After that, you just enter from the daily. Look, I'll give you an example, just for the sake of an example, right? So here, over here, once price broke, weekly bullish storyline, correct? Entry opportunity. Entry opportunity. Entry opportunity. Entry opportunity. Entry opportunity. Entry opportunity. And in case you're wondering, I haven't even gone into daily reject daily H4 breakout, allowing you to enter from the H4s. And you already have 1, 2, well, let's look at the ones that actually panned out, right? 1, 2, this one, no, 1, 2, 3, loss, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one not 6, so just 6. 6 opportunities that actually played out. And this is excluding when, for example, this happens right here, which is daily reject daily. You can start, and then a H4 breakout. You can start, oh, okay, let's start entering from the H4s. We can start doing that now. That's completely ignoring that phenomenon. So we had a total of 6 opportunities to enter a trade, right? If you wanted to wait, right, here's 1 for like quality ones, maybe you want to say, right? Here's 2. Maybe this one you got stopped out. See how we have the fresh one here, but this one maybe you got stopped out. Okay, no problem. Over here, right? These are all valid approaches, bro. You have what? 1, 2, 3 entries. This is very conservative. Again, this is just 3 entries. It's completely ignoring the fact that you can enter from the H4. Remember, even if we have a monthly storyline that's bullish, but we have a daily reject daily that's in line with the weekly and monthly, right? For bullish, we now have the ability to enter from the H4. Is it the best thing to do? No, but we have the ability to do so, right? So this is just very conservative. In the span of what, 4 weeks, we have 3 entries. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 3 entries, and you would have so many more if you were to incorporate, like right over here. For example, in here, what do we have? We have ourselves a H4. If you want to take a counter just like that, right? Maybe this one doesn't reach, right? Oh no, it does, right? And you want to take that? Okay, fine, you can do so. You know, that's a counter trend, but you have to be careful about that one because we have weekly bullish, we have monthly bullish, right? We don't have any sign of daily turning bullish. See, we already broke up, right? We already broke up over here. So look, let me give you another example, right? over here was the easiest place for you to say, oh, a weekly bullish storyline started, correct? And remember how I told you, weekly never turned bearish, right? It could have turned bearish from here, but was there any stop? Was there any weekly stop? No, there wasn't. Was there any weekly reject, weekly, daily bearish breakout? No, there wasn't. So just continue. It's still weekly bullish, right? So if we already have a weekly bullish storyline, do we then have to say, oh, over here it broke up and over here it's done a weekly reject weekly of this guy? See how this wick comes in, rejects this, and yes, it's a long wick, but who cares? The body still closes above. Oh, this is another weekly. No, we're already in a weekly bullish storyline. The only thing I can say for this is, let's assume you completely missed even this one, right? Maybe you just weren't aware of this one. Then here's another chance for you to go, oh, weekly's in bullish storyline. But I mean, come on, this is the most easiest thing, right? This is the easiest freaking thing. Weekly's already in bullish. But let's assume you missed this one for whatever reason. You're eating donuts or something, and then you have this to fall back on. Weekly still bullish, which is exactly why none of these weeklies over here. See this weekly? That's just a buy sell. That's it. There's no bearish storyline that started from there. Buy sell. Price needs to come in. Weekly reject weekly and daily bearish break. None of that happened. Weekly still bullish. That's why we shoot up. There's no weekly over here to stop price. It's just an entire wick. So we'd have to resort to daily, but the daily's all the way up here. And you also have to understand, right? What good is there of a daily being there when we have weekly and monthly bullish storyline? Daily's not going to stop a monthly. Okay, so that's the deal, man. So when I look at this comment, there's nothing wrong with this comment, but when you say majority of us are trying to capitalize on the market at least once a week, I think there's been a misunderstanding, because you can absolutely do that. You know, even before this run up, what do we have right here? Weekly reject weekly, and then we had a daily breakout, correct? See how we had that daily breakout right here? Now you have all the liberties to enter from your daily. Maybe you couldn't find an entry. That's a completely different issue. But you have all the liberties to do so, right? If you weren't confident in entering from either one of these, because you have one, you have two. In fact, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 zones to enter. Simply wait for a daily reject daily, bro, and it hits your H4, and check how that one go out. See this? Right, and then refine it, whatever. But I'm just trying to give you an example of how you would just keep writing that on. If you wanted to enter over here, would you go, oh, I need to wait for another weekly bearish to start? No, you already have. You're already in a weekly bearish storyline. All you need to do is take advantage of that by entering off of your dailies and then being aware of where price could turn. So where could price turn? Price could turn from here, right? MTF with this. Price could turn from here. Price could turn from these areas. The reason why it turned from here specifically is because we had ourselves a monthly, which is why that's a key level. We had ourselves a monthly with a weekly, right? And yes, sure, it didn't respect the weekly, but it's within the monthly. And then below this monthly, you look at, oh, we have this one here, we have this one here, we have this guy. Okay, be aware of that, and then you just wait for a daily. That's it. Okay, once you have that daily, then you just go, man. You're just waiting just for these couple of days. The reason you have to wait here is because price is in a key level. You were selling the entire time. You had opportunities to trade the entire time, not just from the daily, but from the H4 as well, because we have weekly bearish, and then daily also with the operation of time frames information. If you people actually paid attention, daily was together with the weekly, so you can actually take a trade from H4, right? But now we have to wait just a little bit because we're in a freaking key level, bro. You have to wait sometimes, right? Just a little bit. So, yeah. So far is that if the weekly is consolidating, we're F, since we have to use that to even formulate intraday setups. No, you don't. You don't have to use the weekly to formulate intraday setups. You could have weekly and monthly be bullish. You could have weekly and monthly be bullish, but then you observe. But you observe daily reject, daily resistance, and H4 sell. You could take an entry from there and just take your profits at 5,200 pips. So what am I saying? Weekly and monthly, perfectly bullish storylines, right? But you observe that the daily is in a daily reject daily, right? And H4 is giving you a new resistance, or H4 is giving you a breakout, so you can enter from H4. You can absolutely take it from there as well. Is it high? Is it best? No, it's not best, right? But let's assume that this daily reject daily resistance, it's not just a daily reject daily resistance. At that same area of daily reject daily was also a weekly. That means that your daily reject daily would be stronger because it's MTF with the weekly. Does it mean, like, okay, I'll give you an example. So if we have this weekly right here, right? Let's say inside this weekly, we had a daily, correct? So inside this weekly, let's just assume that we had a daily, right? Let's just assume that. Let's say price on the daily comes up. So right now, price is weekly bullish, maybe even daily bullish. So let's say all time frames are bullish right now. Price is coming up and up and up. Just hypothetical. Weekly is bullish. Daily is bullish. Heck, monthly is bullish, right? You see over here, daily reject daily, H4 breakout. You observe that here. Okay? Now this daily is also in the same area as weekly. That would make your daily reject daily and H4 bearish breakout, which means what? Daily bearish storyline started, right? It would make it even stronger. It doesn't mean it is going to work. It just means that it makes it even stronger. Your weekly is still bullish. Your monthly is still bullish. But now because daily reject daily, that also happens to be in the same area as the weekly resistance, daily reject daily and H4 breakout, now we have ourselves a daily bearish storyline as well. So where is the waiting? Where is the confusion? We're not effed. We're not effed. We still have one over here. You just need to wait one day, bro. You just need to wait one day for price to do a rejection, and hopefully the next day we have ourselves a H4 new resistance, or even better, next day we have ourselves a H4 bearish breakout. Then you can just start writing it into the next daily, writing it into the next daily that's coinciding with a weekly, where you really need to be careful because that's going to continue with the weekly and the monthly storyline probably. You see, or just take your profit at 50, 100 pips, like I shared in the previous video. So all of them, I'm not expecting these videos to be some holy grail, but I discovered SMC from you, bragged about. Okay, yeah, that's just your opinion. I completely never bragged about that. From what I've been watching, since you were waiting for breakouts to verify strong areas. Wait. It doesn't seem promising since you're waiting for breakouts to verify strong areas. Yeah, of course you are. Ask any freaking SMC trader. Ask freaking Michael J. Hallister, bro. Do you think Mikey is gonna go like just the highest probability trade, the strongest trade, even though we're in a bullish rally? Just take a sell from here, buddy. Like, I don't know how Michael speaks anymore, but you know, I don't watch his videos too much, but just take a sell from here. No, even he has stressed that you need to wait for certain things to happen. Waiting is a part of it, bro. Listen, man, I've always struggled with impatience since young. I've only worked up to be better, right? But don't be impatient, man. That's an incredibly impatient mindset for you to have. Okay? You need to wait for certain things to happen sometimes, right? Other than that, make sure you're taking all the opportunities you can based on your trading plan, right? So I mean, yeah, man, that's it. Just wanted to talk about that. Okay. Thank you for the comment. I do appreciate this comment because it's allowed me to make this video. But yeah, as I said, if for example so I'll give you an example right now. What's the storyline? Monthly bullish. Let me not waste time. Monthly, weekly, daily. Monthly, weekly, daily bullish storyline. That's it. Okay, so next week, for example, I'm not trying to say this is actually going to happen, but be aware of these areas. Be aware. Pay attention to these areas, right? And if, for example, we have a daily reject daily, for example, or something like that, pay attention. Maybe you can take a buy from there, right? Maybe price completely dips down. Pay attention, right? But before price actually dips down, there will probably be some form of a setup over here, more than likely. Price just doesn't just completely dip down, right? There'll probably be a couple setups over here that you can take as a counter, right? So, you know, be aware of these things, and you'll be all right. So over here also, you don't really need to be too aware about this. I don't think you need to be too aware about this one. Reason being, we have monthly bullish, weekly bullish. This is just a daily, but let's say daily does a daily reject daily. If you really wanted to, you could take a sell from there, 50, 100 pips, call that your intraday, call it a day. That's it, you're done. All you take is 50 to 100 pips for intra. You have to understand that fact first of all. You're taking 50 to 100 pips, boom, you're out. You know, if you want to create other targets for yourself based on storyline, that's on you. But I'm telling you, for me, intraday, 50, 100 pips, I'm done. That's it, boom. Trust, your win rate is going to be pretty good. When you first start out, it may not look too promising, but once you go on, you'll realize what to ignore and what not to ignore. Okay, so yeah, man, stay blessed. As I said before, you know, if you're trying to take an intraday, right, you don't have to keep on waiting before you take this trade, before you take you know, a trade from here. You don't have to keep on waiting, right, for weekly to show you some BS. You know, if you are already in a weekly bullish storyline, then what more do you want? You know what I mean? If you're already in a weekly bullish, there isn't really much for you to do. You're already in a weekly bullish storyline. There's no sign of a weekly bearish happening, so you just take it based on that. There's no sign of a weekly bearish happening, so you're still in weekly bullish. That's it, man. But anyway, man, you guys have a blessed day. See you guys in the next video, man. Peace.